Most students prepare for interviews. Very few understand how they are actually judged. Our guest has spent over 30 years on the selection side. As a former Indian Air officer, Force officer, and trained interviewing officer, he has assessed thousands of candidates in high pressure situations. Today, he helps students build judgment, character, and real readiness. This episode is about how you are truly evaluated, not how to sound prepared, but how to be prepared. Sir, welcome. It's great to have you with us. Let's
Yeah.
start by understanding your journey.
Yeah. See, I had joined the Air Force almost 37 years ago. And primarily, I had been training people, and I've been in the field of HR, and where I have selected people, I also trained them. And the journey has been, in that sense, wonderful. Towards the last 15 years of my service, I have been, interviewing people for their selection into the armed forces as an officer. So all those students who were NDA aspirants or who would appear for CDS or AFCAT, they would come to us for SSB. And I am primarily an interviewing officer, and I would evaluate their personalities and assess whether they will be suitable for the armed forces or not. Subsequently, after the service is over, I have got into the field of training and mentoring students to achieve their potential.
Got it. How would you describe the nature of your work today? Like, at what stages of their career do people usually seek your guidance?
Yeah, generally what happens is people have prepared themselves in a certain manner. They have an idea, okay, this is how I must prepare for an interview or for a particular job. But there's a gap between what they have prepared for and what is exactly required for the job. So I step in at that point when their understanding of what is expected from them has to be clarified, and I mentor them along that way. So generally people who are ready, but they do not really know what they should do to get to the other side. That is one. Second is when you have actually joined a service or you're doing something and you need to upgrade your skills and knowledge. So I mentor those young professionals who can upgrade themselves.
Got it.
Potential is a very often used terminology. I must clarify, potential is not something which is absolutely, in the sense, innate, that you've been born with it. Potential for me is your performance over a period of time under constraints. How have you performed? If everything is good and everything is hunky-dory, then generally we are all able to perform well. It's under constraints that your true metal comes into play. So potential is developed over a period of time through experiments, through failures, through successes, learning and growing in that sense. Yeah.
When students prepare for interviews, where do they focus most and what do they often neglect?
There's a very difficult situation here for the students. Students generally look at interviews as something as what they've been doing all their lives. I'll try to explain it further for you. What happens is, as a student, I am looking at my academic excellence. So wherein all our lives we have been, asked to appear in an examination. You're given a set of questions and you need to be giving an answer to those questions. Okay, so suppose you have been given 10 questions in a question paper and you have answered all 10 of them correctly, you get 100 marks. But interview is not like that. So what people do is they are rehearsing answers. They're trying to be somebody else, or they've learned some methods or some parameters which can be utilized in the interview, and they feel they can get through with it. But it doesn't happen like that.
So, okay, I have a question here. Usually, what my friends do is for if they are appearing for a particular interview and, for example, a non-tech interview, and all the life they have studied, right? And for non-tech interviews, extracurricular is one of the few things that people ask. So, like one of my friend, what he did that he just put random stuff that I have the head of this society and I have been doing this and that, and on basis of that he got selected. Like because when he was talking to an interviewer and he just started telling his stories which actually didn't happen.
Yeah.
And he was telling me about that. So, like, what do you think about this?
What happens is, as a candidate, I try to pretend to be somebody else. I have a perceived idea about, okay, this is what the interviewer is looking out for. So I present myself in a manner which shows that I am that person. But that is not your true self. Now, there are two major pitfalls to it. First pitfall is that the interviewer, if he's experienced, he will catch you. Okay. How he catches you, we will discuss that subsequently. But point is, it is visible. What is important is your authenticity, your honesty, and stuff like that. Second point, which is very, very important, which people ignore, absolutely they are oblivious to this possibility, that you have used a different persona. You pretended to be somebody else. But what happens when the chips are down? You're supposed to be performing. All right. So most of these students or young professionals who get into these jobs, they start feeling that stress, the stress of being an imposter. You're an imposter because you are not really what you had pretended to be. You may have hoodwinked a particular system, but then the cost is for you to pay. This is something which they do not understand. Okay, so firstly, the interviewer will catch you, and a lot of people don't get recommended or they don't get selected because he is going to find out. But in case you still make it, or you may have some other attributes which you felt, the interviewer felt, okay, he's good, and maybe let's give him a try. Subsequently, when you get into the job, you have to perform. What do you do then? Right? So that's how it is. Secondly, when you're talking about the the extracurricular activities that you were talking about, like I've done this, I've done that, I've been president of this club, or I've been associated with that activity. It is not merely the association as a president or a secretary or a member of that society. It is the job which you have done, your willingness to step out of your comfort zone, try your different activities apart from your academics. That is the fulcrum. That is where the entire situation rests, which we do not understand. So I will have my resume where I'll have 15 different things which I've written in that. But what do they really mean? How have they impacted my personality? How have they enriched my experiences? That is the key. And that is where we miss it out.
So the impact is mostly like, even if they get the job, in the long term, they started feeling the pressure, and like, it is much more good that in the starting only they start with honesty.
Yes.
Got it. In the first few minutes of the meeting, a candidate, what early signs stand out to you?
See, it's a coherence which is important. Coherence of your body language, what you speak, and how you are speaking it. So there's a phrase which we use, mansa vacha karmana. Mansa is the mind, vacha is what you speak, and karmana is what you do. So the integration of mansa, vacha, and karmana, that is very, very important. I may think of XYZ things, right? I may say ABC things, but then is there a congruence in between the two? So what happens is, I may pretend to be somebody else, like I had said in the beginning. I may try to be an actor, but that thing is seen through, because you can't keep up the act for a long time. So 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, not more than that. So the things begin to appear. We can see what the person is really like. The red flags are raised. Then you can probe further and find out what exactly is the personality all about. But what I must tell you here is, it is not merely whether you were saying the truth or you were being somebody else. As an assessor, I would also look at you as your real personality. What exactly is your personality? It is not that you have come and you have told a few things which were incorrect or inaccurate, and I say, since you have told me inaccurate things, I'll not select you. Please go away. Not like that. I will still try to find out what you really are. Can you really fit into my organization's role or not? Okay, so that is the maturity and the understanding of the interviewer. He may not reveal it to the candidate. The candidate may think that he has got away with the pretension which he had made. Maybe the interviewer has found something else in him, and he feels, yes, he has some potential, and let's put it to good use. Okay, that's a hallmark of a good interviewer. Second thing is, an interviewer should also be looking at what is his potential in my organization. So, like, you have joined at the entry level, fine. But what will happen after 3 years or 7 years? What roles will fit in? Can he be groomed to be occupying that role? Okay, it is not merely like I've taken a person in for 2 years and then I said, okay, thank you very much, you may go. I'll find another boy. A good HR manager or an interviewer, he would be looking at your future growth as well. Do you have the potential? Do you have the knack, or do you have the growth mindset? Will you be growing into that role, which I think is important, right? So that also is there, but it is hidden from the candidates. They don't think of it in that term. What they think of is, what am I going to be doing? Say 3 months later, if I get the job, what will I be doing? Nothing beyond that.
Got it. So, like, everything is going in the interviewer's mind that even if the candidate is speaking wrong or like he is not honest, the interviewer is thinking of his potential, that what he can be like, what he can do in our organization, what kind of roles he can occupy, and the future as well.
No, here I'll clarify. It is not that you start saying lies and he starts looking for goodness in you. No, it's not like that. Right. But then, you're trying to misrepresent something. You say, I'm like this, I did that. And I could ignore those things because I feel something else is there in you, which you have yourself not identified. You're not aware of it. All right. So we are not condoning, being a cheat or being a person or pretending to be a person who's not what, it's something more than that. It's deeper than that. But then if the connect is not there, if I cannot believe you or believe what you're saying, obviously it is hard for me to accept you. It goes true with, any relation. Why interview or the candidate? Even at home or with the friends. If you can trust a person, you can ignore a lot of shortcomings. Right? That honesty definitely matters. So my advice would be honest. You tell whatever you're doing, what you are thinking. Allow him to make that call. Rather than pretending to be somebody else, and you will definitely be seen through. So there's a subtle difference in the two.
Got it. Why do capable and hardworking students still face a rejection even when they seem prepared?
Yeah, exactly. The same thing, They are prepared in a certain manner. Okay. They do not know their own authentic selves, their true capabilities. All right. So now they are gone pretending to be somebody else, and there is a mismatch. And he's not able to, the interview is not able to really accept you as you are. Okay. He feels there's something not correct or something fishy or something is not matching up. So instead of being a rehearsed person or instead of being a person who is in a way pretending to be somebody else or showing certain capability which are not really his forte, that problem comes up. He's capable, yes. He may have certain qualities, but he may not be selected. That is one thing. Second thing which you must always be aware of is the interviewer is looking for you for a particular task, right? He's looking for that role which you're going to be performing in that organization. Will you fit into that role? Is his call. He has to take that call. You may be super qualified, but then I need to see whether you can fit into my group or not. Will you be able to survive in that, or will you be able to thrive in it? That is also one question which the interviewer keeps in mind, which the candidate will never come to know.
Got it.
That is also another thing which people generally do not know or don't think about. Okay, you may be overqualified for that job also. We always think maybe I was not qualified enough, maybe I was not suitable enough. That also happens. And it's not necessary that you are a very, very good candidate. I still take you because I know your attitude or your behavior pattern will not suit my group. And you are more likely to be a disruptor than a contributor to the group's role. So these are various things which come into play.
I want you to expand on that. There are sometimes that overqualified people also get rejected, right? I want to know more about it. Like you said that they can be a disruptor rather than like part of a machine that the interviewer is looking for. Can you expand on that?
See, you will be aware of a thing like, when I create a job or I say, okay, I need applicants for this particular job, I will create a job description and it is published or publicized. So this is a job description. I want a candidate who should have these capabilities and these qualities. Okay. So when I'm doing the job description, I'm also aware of the requirements of my organization. So now whether you are fitting into the requirements of the organization or not is important. So what happens is the job description is given. You say these are the qualifications required. You should have so many percentage of marks. These are the subjects you should have studied. You should have done this, that, whatever. So that takes you through the screening process. You are in, which means you have the skills. Right? Now the interviewer is, do you have the will or the attitude to work in my organization? That is his call. He has to look at that. Okay? So when you say he's a qualified candidate, yes, definitely he's got say 90% marks in his examination. And there's another candidate who's got 80% marks. Okay. So logically you will say the person who's got 90% marks should be taken in. But it is that attitude or your willingness to work under those circumstances what is his call. And in academic terms, 90% means, okay, you have, in a rough way, you may say, okay, it's 90% of the knowledge you have gained. It may not exactly be true, but then take it for an argument's sake, 90%. And the person who's got, say, 80%, how much less is it than the 90% boy? Not very much. Right? And then it's not merely the skill which is important, it's also the attitude which is important. So that's how it is.
Okay. Now let's talk about AI, right?
Okay.
That from your perspective, where is AI genuinely helping in evaluation, learning, or preparation?
See, AI is a very useful tool. Okay. It reduces friction. But point is, you should be able to take decisions. You should be able to judge. That is an quality of humans. I should know what I'm looking for. Then I can demand it from the machine. Machine will provide it to me. It is more efficient, definitely. It is faster, yes. But that ability to analyze, visualize, judge is with me. Okay. So it can be a good helper. It can be a good support mechanism. But I am the leader. It's like, I am the head and the AI is the limbs. They take me around. They carry me around. But then head has to command. It has to tell which direction to take and what should be done. Or it should be able to reject a certain point of view. The problem here is when we start accepting everything which the AI is telling us. Because AI doesn't have those kind of constraints or ethical restrictions. All those things are with us as humans. And we are responsible for those actions or decisions that we take. So in that sense, AI is very good as a servant. But do not allow it to become your master. You'll end up in trouble.
But right now there are a lot of tools. In fact, I'm also thinking of building a tool which can help students prepare for interviews and stuff, right? And for like my thinking for building that tool is that go through all the questions which interview ask and what are the questions they can ask and prepare student for that particular role they want to apply for, right? And AI can help in that one. And I correctly agree that the AI should be servant and not the master. But nowadays, uh, as companies sizes grows, right? And will it not be like the interviewers will be replaced by AI in future? Because like as the size grows and to reduce cost and to reduce cost, uh, like AI will be the main judge in future.
Yeah, there are a lot of things which you have asked in one particular question. See, the point is, we use a term called as force multiplier in services. Okay. So like, for example, you say, I got a fighter airplane, which has an endurance of, say, 45 minutes. Endurance means the fuel capacity and how far it can go and come back. Now, every time it goes up and comes down, it wastes time and so much is not very, very efficient. So suppose I have a tanker in the sky itself, right? The tanker, now the aircraft can refuel itself while it's flying and continue. So instead of being, flying for 1 hour, now it has increased capacity to fly for 2 hours or indefinitely. In fact, you can keep, refueling it and keep flying, right? So what has happened is it has become a force multiplier. So my capacity has grown up. But here AI is like a force multiplier. But I need to have that force first, no? If I do not have the fighter airplane, what will it multiply? So the capability has to be there with you as a student. You may prepare, make any number of questions, What you are doing actually is what I'm advocating against. You're preparing answers, questions, and then making demo answers, and you're preparing them, rehearsing them, you're trying to tell them in their own, polished way. That is what exactly you should not be doing, right? Rather than that, you should be your own authentic self. Okay, now to be your authentic self, you need to be aware also. Because if I do not have this self-awareness, knowledge about my own self, my own capabilities, my own shortcomings, I will never be able to authentically talk about my own self. That is the biggest problem between the rehearsed answers which students are giving. So it's like, it's the same template which you're using for an examination. So I've given you PYQ. So last 10 years PYQ you study, you'll get 80% marks. It doesn't work out here. Similarly, now you use the same corollary for evaluation also. You say, okay, the interviewer, why do you need an interviewer? He'll put a machine over there. Okay, now the machine has prepared an answer. A machine has evaluated the answer. So what will happen then? Tell me. Will it work? No, it can't. Because we are needing a human being, and the point is, a human is going to be responding to stressful situations. He'll be responding to situations which are not, which have got limited resources. When the resources are not there, your human mind rises. Say, okay, let me, let me find alternate sources. Okay, that is where your strength comes into play. Okay, so machines have a different role. Like I said, it's a servant. But the servant has to be guided. It has to be given the direction. That is from your head. So you are the head of the thing. He's a supporter. He's your servant in a way. Use him in that manner. But to use it in that manner, you need to be having your own capabilities. Develop those capabilities so that you can use that properly.
Got it. And many students chase the right career. In your experience, is it more about the right career or the right mindset?
Mindset. So you keep evolving. What career am I talking about? What am I looking at? I am evolving from what I am today to what I will be, say 5 years, 10 years or 30 years or 50 years later. Right? The evolution is very important. And the evolution takes place with your failures, your experimentations, your willingness to take on challenges, not hiding behind AI. All right. So you need to be, that's what is going to create your capabilities. Okay. Capability in the sense that, you are able to thrive in an ambiguous situation, is able to perform under ambiguous situation where things are not clear to him. Solutions are not in front of him, but he has a self-belief. He knows I can do something and he carries on straight and people follow him. Okay. So that knowledge, the skill is very, very important. This is something which an AI cannot replicate. Okay. It is very, very unique to the humans.
Yes.
To find connections, to find, sources of inspiration. Where will an AI get inspiration from? So in that sense, you are evolving. So what I was 30 years ago and what I am today, there's a huge difference. And what I was 2 years ago and what I am today, again, there is a difference. And I am also at this stage of my life, I'm still evolving. It is not that I've stopped. Okay. And since I'm evolving, I am also able to take in AI in my stride. I'm able to take on any new technology that will come up.
Yes.
I will be able to use it. But if I do not evolve and I'm stuck at what I was, then I'll get swamped or I'll be redundant or discarded. Okay, that is what every student must remember. Okay, yeah. Look at your strengths. What are my strengths? My strengths are I'm able to evolve. I'm able to innovate. I'm able to withstand adversity. I can rise when I've fallen. In fact, the more you fall, the better you will be later on. Your response to the adverse situation is what makes you a special person. So these are the things which you must keep in mind.
And like as we talked about mindset, right? And I'm sure that this skill can be trained.
Yeah.
So how do like students in college who are preparing to go into different careers, how should they train their mindset?
See, the mindset is you should be able to stick your neck out Do not be stuck with what you are already able to do. Try out new things. Try out new things. I will not say you should try X or Y or Z things. Not like that. But then experiment. Look at the possibilities. Grow into that. So see the biggest, the strength of human being, mankind, is his ability to learn from his surroundings, use analogy, and grow, find solutions to the problems. A man saw birds flying, so he aspired to be able to fly. He felt I should also fly. He tried out very things. Ultimately, now he flies faster, further, and with a lot of people along. So that capability has come when man started experimenting. So if I decide to stay within the comfort zone and do not step out of it, how will I achieve greatness? So my advice to all students should be, yes, academic knowledge is important. That's a stepping stone. But your attitude to face the unknown, to be willing to embrace setbacks, failures, that is very important. Do not be afraid of setbacks. Don't be afraid of failures. Continue doing. Okay? And alongside, you should be, when you have failures, you also realize, okay, I wish I had this capabilities. Let me work on this capability. And if you have, an ambiguous situation or you're in an adverse situation, you tap into those resources which you already had in you, which you did not know about. So that also adds to your self-awareness. So you are now more aware of your capabilities. You have also expanded your capabilities. So now you are a more capable person. So I'm using it in a linear way, just to make it understood by you. Otherwise, it's in a way of exponential growth. Learning or skill development or capability enhancement is an exponential term. It explodes. It is never in a linear manner. Okay, that the belief must be there with the students. They should always believe that I'm on the right track. Let me continue.
So it compounds over time.
It will compound. It will compound. And there's no other way out, actually. Okay, whether you willingly choose it or you don't choose it, it is compounding. The question is how quickly or how much faith you have, or how long can you continue? Because impact is seen much later, isn't it?
Yes. Thanks a lot. I think we can wrap this up. Careers don't stall because people lack talent. They stall because people misunderstand how they are evaluated. Today's conversation wasn't about shortcuts or trends. It was about judgment, responsibility, and staying human in an AI-driven world. If this helped you see yourself more clearly, it's done its job. Thank you.
Thank you very much.